Well, thank you for having me, Kadi. Um, if you've been watching politics in Nigeria, you realize that um, what they do is right in front of your face, and it's not easy. I mean, it's so easy to understand when a political party is headed for ruin. In this issue, PDP has elementary problems. And when I say elementary problems, their issues are right in front of them. Their major challenge is their inability as a political organization, one of the oldest in the continent, to follow their own rules. Let me repeat myself. The problem of the PDP is a problem that they have amongst each other to follow their own laid down constitution. Okay? Now, you can take the blame game from those who say it's Atiku that is the root of the problem. Some say it is Wike that is the root of the problem. Some say, oh, it is the past leaders that set this precedence in place. But think about it, just like my gentleman there had mentioned, a party that has been challenged by such divisions, you would have felt that the first urgent matter on their table was to either address the indiscipline of anti-party activity, or, if you like, go to the original sin, which was basically PDP as a convention and as a constitution has zoning and power sharing between the North and South. That was the basis of when, I think, was it the G20 set up the PDP. And it was always on that basis. It was never a problem. Now, at 2023 elections, the sentiment was, with Buhari having done 8 years, that power would move to the South. Now, at this same situation, I think it was in 2022, when they had this problem, they had a NEC meeting, which ideally, by convention, they should have simply said, oh, let's look at how we can bring up candidates from the South. An idea came up and said, no, let's compete. That is the same issue that began their downfall. They couldn't follow their own rules. Statements like, are you afraid of competition? If we compete, we will now know who is the best. Yes, that is a democratic option. I agree. But is that the rule? Is that what the PDP from its origin has agreed to do? If they're changing their convention or their constitution, then let it be known, like APC that doesn't have that convention, that power can shift anywhere, fine. But if we've always had a convention, you can't change it as you deem fit, or when it works for you and when it doesn't work for you. Now, since then, I mean, we can start reeling out all the issues that they had. Some who say Wike is the root of the problem of the PDP, he said agreement is agreement. They had a governors forum, I think a few weeks ago. They invited him and he asked a particular question. So how are we going about the presidential candidacy come 2027? They said, we still want to have NEC, etc. and co. That was all he needed to know, that PDP is not ready. Now, they've had the meeting yesterday. Kayode, what did the PDP members say? They couldn't even bring up the topic because they know that means you're not strict. Let me say this.
But isn't that an academic exercise, Mr. Corey? He said he will support. No. He has said he will support President Tinubu. We know that. He's in the president's cabinet. He has never hidden it. So isn't that an academic exercise asking, what do you plan to do with the presidency? Is he trying to know their own game plan so you'll find a way to use it against them? I think you get what I mean here.
No, I do. But what I'm saying is, you haven't even given him a chance to air. PDP needs to set itself straight. Like I said, they can either agree. They should have been able to say, okay, this time round, the 8 years of power sharing to the South is not over. Therefore, we're going to shop for a candidate from the South. That would have been a clear indicator that, okay, we made an error in the past. We're ready to correct that now. That would have been a clear error. Immediately that is said, the equation shifts. It's no longer about Wike meddling in the matters. It's now Wike, now that we've chosen to do the right thing, if any action you take works against this party, you're being expelled. It's as simple as that. But if you're still dilly-dallying, you still want the option of, okay, let's keep it open to the public, then at the end of the day, it simply means that you don't want to change your ways. Secondly, the National Secretary issue. What is the history of the National Secretary issue? The only reason why Anyanwu is there and why the Supreme Court supported his candidature is simple. Ideally, if you were to run for a gubernatorial or any other position, you're meant to resign. Unfortunately, I think Ayu was the chairman then. He did not enforce a resignation on behalf of Anyanwu, which is why legally, technically, he is still the national secretary. Whereas the majority of the party has voted for Udo Okoye. These are simple technicalities, Kayode. If a political party that claims that it wants to rescue, or bring about reforms in Nigeria cannot deliver the elementary, I repeat myself, a political party of experienced politicians cannot deliver the elementary basics to a school. We just celebrated Children's Day, Kayode. Come on. My daughter can even figure this out. That party is not ready. You know, I don't blame the APC. The APC has not bound themselves by some of these conventions. Some people claim, oh, the PDP follows rules, they follow constitution. It's okay. As they say in literature, there's honor amongst thieves. If the APC agrees that it's open to all, and anybody who has the power, who has the capacity to win, I've always told people, politics is not about logic. 1 + 1 is not 2 in politics. Politics is about numbers and consensus. 1 + 1 in politics is 11. The PDP wants to continue, let's use the word, deceiving its own self, okay? Then there's nothing we can do as a people. My own grouse, my own challenge, my own grievance is that Nigeria is being robbed of what we call credible opposition. Okay. Nigeria is being robbed of an alternative position, stance, to be able to check a ruling administration at the federal level and as well as the state level. This is my issue. This is not democracy we're seeing. This is literally one party having a field day simply because there's no credible opposition out there.